Hello, this is Killican, and here's a shout out to America's #1 butt kickers, the Marines. And to get an even better appreciation for the Devil Dogs, let's turn back the clock to their first covert op in the Mexican-American War. On October 30, 1845, Marine Corps Lieutenant Archibald Gillespie is sent on a very roundabout and secret courier mission from none other than President James K. Polk. His objective? To deliver secret messages to Monterey, California for U.S. Consul Thomas O. Larkin, U.S. Navy Commodore John D. Sloat of the Pacific Squadron, and U.S. Army Pathfinder Major John C. Fremont. The contents of the three letters was never fully declassified, but, considering their actions, Polk's message was clear. I want California, and you gentlemen are going to get it for me. But to kill two birds with one stone, Polk decided to send Gillespie via a route that would let it double as a recon mission. From D.C., Gillespie went to New York City, where he dressed as a civilian and hopped a boat for Veracruz, Mexico. By the time he arrived in port, Gillespie had memorized and burned all but the most important messages, and so began his coast-to-coast trek across Mexico, in which he used many disguises and aliases. What he found was a nation in chaos. The dictator Santa Anna had been deposed, only to be replaced by other elitist despots. The common people had seen so many revolts, revolutions, and counter-revolutions the past few decades, they had become cynical. Nothing seemed to change no matter who was in charge, and they had little motivation to fight for their own republic. In December, he hopped a whaling ship on the west coast for Honolulu, Hawaii, where a U.S. Navy warship was waiting for him, and he arrived at Monterey, California in April. Disguised as a merchant, Gillespie made his way to the American consul, passed his message on to Thomas Larkin, then set out for Oregon with a few Marines to find Captain Fremont. After following their trail for days, they finally overtook Fremont, who was eager to do his duty in securing California. Guiding Fremont on his exploration was the mountain man Kit Carson, who gladly volunteered to serve his country, as his father did in the Revolution. That night, the camp was attacked by Indians. Carson awoke in time to raise the alarm, but not before 3 of their party had been murdered in their sleep. 2 of whom were old friends of Carson's. The next morning, Carson recognized the slain attackers as Klamaths, who had traded peacefully with them just days ago. Their leader, whom Carson killed the night before, had an English-made axe, and the arrows fired by the attackers were a kind only available at the nearby British Hudson Bay Fur Trading Company store. Deducing the Klamaths had been paid to do Queen Victoria's dirty work, Fremont, Carson, Gillespie, and the others attacked the nearby Klamath village, driving them off and burning it to the ground. From there, they returned to Monterey, California, fighting off attacks from various tribes as they went. Gillespie and his Marines, as always, conducted themselves upstandingly. Carson was even so impressed, he gave Gillespie a fine Indian bow as a gift. Fremont and the others played a pivotal role in rallying local American immigrants against the Mexicans. Soon the U.S. Navy arrived, led by Commodore Stockton, and in a matter of weeks, every port in California was under the Stars and Stripes. Gillespie then promoted to captain, and about 30 Marines were left to garrison Los Angeles after a peaceful takeover. Unfortunately, Gillespie placed the town under martial law, sowing the seeds of revolt, and on September 23, 1846, after a month of martial law, about 300 Californios took up arms. Gillespie and his Marines, outnumbered 10-1, were driven from their HQ in town and made a stand on Fort Moore Hill. After holding for a week with no water and little ammunition, Gillespie accepted the Californios' terms of capitulation. They were allowed to retreat for San Pedro with their muskets, but not their cannons. After an ill-fated attempt to retake Los Angeles at the Battle of Dominguez Rancho, Gillespie and a few Marines rode out to meet General Kearny's army, now being guided by Kit Carson, marching for California through New Mexico. They met Carney near San Pasqual with grave news that all of California had been retaken by Californios except San Diego. They also reported a Mexican Lancer unit garrisoned in San Pasqual. Carney insisted on a night attack to scatter the enemy's forces, but the Lancers were waiting for them, and the result was a disaster that left 17 of Carney's 150 men dead and 13 injured, including Carney and Gillespie. Gillespie and the rest of Carney's battered command were eventually rescued by Commodore Stockton's men, and on January 8th and 9th, 1847, Gillespie was well enough to take part in the sweeping American victory at San Gabriel. He personally rehung the same American flag he had been forced to lower months earlier in Los Angeles, and on January 13th, the Californios signed the Treaty of Cahuengo, surrendering all of California to America. Gillespie returned to Washington, D.C. after a job well done. He resigned his commission in 1854 with an honorary promotion to major, and died in San Francisco in 1873. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like and share, don't forget to subscribe, and peace out.